Hello everyone and welcome to ABZ Innovation. My name is Dalma Gila-Rácz and in today's webinar I am going to talk about a war that is happening right now in your fields. But instead of fighting this war with heavy chemical sprays and massive tractors, we will explore a different strategy. One that relies on nature's own precision forces deployed efficiently and directly from the sky. Meet our hero, the Trichogramma. Now, when I say the word wasp, you probably picture something that ruins a summer picnic. But don't worry. The Trichogramma, specifically the Trichogramma brassicae species contained in our capsules, is actually a microscopic parasitoid, measuring only about 0.5 millimeter in size. It is completely harmless to humans, pollinators, and the wider ecosystem. Its reproductive cycles serve as a highly precise natural pest control mechanism. The female lays her eggs directly inside the eggs of specific crop pests. Because of this incredibly targeted biological process, the pest embryo is neutralized, meaning the destructive larva never develops. But who exactly are they fighting? This biological defense is specifically deployed against two of the most devastating agricultural pests: the European corn borer, or scientifically known as Ostrinia nubilalis, and the cotton bollworm Helicoverpa armigera. Now let's discuss how these pests cause damage. Let's look at the corn borer first. These caterpillars are like tiny, destructive structural engineers. They start by feeding on the leaves and then they bore straight into the corn stalk. They feed downward, completely destroying the plant's vascular tissues, which disrupts the transport of vital nutrients. If you ever walk your field and see large amounts of frass, which is a polite word for insect droppings, you know they're already moved in. Then we have the cotton bollworm. This pest is incredibly greedy and polyphagous, meaning damages over 300 different crops, including sunflowers, tomatoes, peppers, peas, and beans. Unlike the corn borer, the bollworm goes straight for the most valuable parts of the plant, the generative fruits, like your corn kernels. As you can see on these next few slides, the adult moths might look harmless, but the damage their larvae leave behind is absolutely devastating. As illustrated here, the Ostrinia nubilalis inflicts severe structural and physiological damage to the plant. By boring into the stalk, the larvae destroy vital vascular issues and disrupt nutrient transport while simultaneously attacking the generative parts to feed directly on the developing kernels. And here, you can see the damage of the Helicoverpa armigera. They eat the kernels directly. And the worst part is that once they are deep inside the ear or stalk, regular chemical sprays can hardly reach them. So, how does our tiny 0.5 millimeter wasp defeat this pest? It is honestly a bit like a sci-fi movie. First, the female wasp acts like a tracking device, finding the pest egg using chemical signals. She inspects the egg with her antennae to make sure it's a good host. Then she lays her own egg inside the pest's egg. When the wasp larva hatches, it literally eats the pest embryo from the inside out. The wasp develops fully inside that shell, and eventually a brand new adult wasp chews its way out, ready to fly off and hunt down more pests. And why is this method so revolutionary? Well, because it is incredibly selective. It targets only pest eggs. It is completely harmless to beneficial insects, pollinators, humans, and the wider environment. Second, there is zero risk of resistance. Pests can mutate the resist chemicals, but they cannot biologically adapt to being eaten. Long term, it is highly cost-effective and brilliant for crops like sweet corn, seed corn, and sunflowers. Now, if this is so amazing, what's the catch? The biggest challenge used to be how it was applied. Traditionally, workers had to walk the fields and hang tiny capsules or cards on the plants by hand. It was very labor-intensive and took a lot of time. Treating a large field could take days, while pests kept developing. On top of that, human error meant the capsules weren't always evenly distributed, leaving gaps in protection. Just imagine walking through a huge, dense cornfield in the middle of summer just to hang a tiny piece of cardboard. It's not exactly what efficient farming should look like. And here comes the drone. With drones, we take the human out of the mud and the tall canopy. Drone application is completely independent of soil conditions. It easily treats hard-to-reach areas, and most importantly, it guarantees a fast, precise, and perfectly uniform application across the entire field. Luckily for us, we've got just the solution. At ABZ Innovation, we use advanced drones like the L10 Pro and M12 to do all the heavy lifting. These drones are perfectly suited for the job, thanks to our Trichogramma spreader system. With an 8-liter tank, a single drone can carry over 300 of these tiny biological warriors in one flight. So how does the Trichogramma capsule drop actually work? We use a specialized drone-mounted spreader system. It features a highly reliable open-close automatic mechanism that releases the polystyrene capsules one by one. It makes sure that they fall at just the right speed and in the right amount to achieve perfectly even coverage across the field. Of course, because we are dealing with biology, we need a bit of strategy. Timing is everything. You want to apply these capsules during the peak flight of the pests, which you can easily monitor using attractant traps. Typically, you'll need 2 to 3 applications spaced 7 to 14 days apart. And remember, these are live insects inside the capsules, so pay attention to the weather. Calm, overcast, or simply cloudy conditions work best, usually in the morning or late afternoon. Avoid strong winds, heavy rain, or extreme heat over 30 degrees Celsius. When storing your capsules before the flight, keep them cool between 4 and 10 degrees Celsius, out of direct sunlight and away from sudden temperature changes. Follow these tips and your Trichogramma drops will reach their target efficiently and safely. We actually have a fantastic video demonstrating the ABZ L10 drone releasing Trichogramma in the field, so I highly recommend checking it out on our channel to see the system in action. So, to bring it all together, who really needs this technology? First, hybrid seed corn and sweet corn producers. When your crops grow tall, ground machinery simply cannot enter the field. At the late stage, when infestations hit the hardest, drones are the only efficient way to treat the crop without crushing your own yield. Second, organic and biofarmers. If you are bound by strict regulation that forbid chemical pesticides, this technology is just a game changer. It is a 100% natural, residue-free, biological solution that meets all organic standards and improves your food safety. Thank you so much for your time. I hope this session gave you a fresh perspective on the future of crop protection. If you are ready to hire millions of these tiny half-millimeter helpers for your own farm, your team at ABZ Innovation is always here to help you get them airborne. Have a fantastic day, keep farming smart, and we hope to see you above the fields very soon.